Alright guys, we're back. I wanted to show you something that I made. I made these. I made two of them out of some square tubing that we had left over from my uncle's trailer. I was going to use it for making some rock sliders for the Comanche, but I decided I needed these because on this Gold Jeep, these are kind of acting as like limiting straps. And I don't need that, and so I've been trying not to drive this thing around too much or over bumps or anything like that too hard, so I don't mess these up. I hope I haven't the times that I have driven it, but I made two of them, and so what they're gonna do is I'll cut this off, the old shock mounts, and then I'll have to bend these lines up a little bit. I think I got plenty of room on this one. I can just bend them kind of up and out of the way ish, and they'll go like up here. I'll center them to the axle, and then I got a bevel like the ends, so like kind of notch out the ends so that'll go on here. And then I'll be able to turn the shock to run a bolt through this. And there's the pin up there, so I can rotate this. I can move this inward or however I need to, but I plan on trying to get it right in line with where it currently is. So like somewhere back up in here, and then I'll weld it in, try to center it to the axle as best I can, have it notched out, and then I'll tack it in, and when I'm satisfied with one, I'll take measurements off of it, and then go over and I'll do the other side, and then I will do the same, about the same measurements as what I find over on this side over there. So probably to notch that, I'll mark center on here, and then I'll just take my grinder and I'll start grinding out on both sides a little bit at a time until it kind of wraps the axle a lot better. I'm just going to set it right there because it's probably won't take much, and then once it's like kind of butted up and the top and the bottom are closer to the axle, I'll cut that thing off. Well, it should already be cut off by then, and I will have it all cleaned up, have the axle all cleaned up back here, take the shock, move it out of the way, stick it up where I wanted it, with whatever marks I make, and then I'll tack it, and then do the other side, tack it, and then I'll go around and weld them both on. So that should give me more play with these, so I don't have to buy any new shocks. And hopefully, like I said, I didn't mess these up because I have driven it a little bit. So I'll let you guys know how that turns out when I get these things on there. So I'll bring you back after a bit. Alright guys, we're back out here this morning, getting ready to work on the Gold Jeep again. I went ahead and welded one of those Shock Relocation brackets that I had made in there. I had to do some modifying to it. I should have opened the garage door. I could show you what I'm having to do. Got it kind of angled. I think that's about the right angle. These little shock bushings that I have, they keep wanting to pop out. I'm willing to bet that it's just straight in here, smooth. There's no like rib, I don't think, in there to hold it centered, which kind of sucks, but I got it in there. It's pretty much like the angle that I think I'm gonna need, even when it's like moved all the way over to here. It is a little bit angled more, I think, than the way the all right, waiting for that truck to go by, but it's a little angled more than what it is currently, as you can see by the bottom, which I think it lines up pretty darn good. It's just a pain in the butt pushing these things up to get over that, because it's against the gas tank back here. The other one's going to be a lot easier, hopefully. The exhaust is kind of in the way right here, so I won't be able to pull it all the way over, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to like pull it forward and strap it with this I'm talking about the shock, strapping the shock up with this bungee to keep it out of my way so I can cut that old mount off. Now, I didn't clean it super good. Like, I didn't cut off this back piece here, which is fine, you know, because these things are going to end up going away, this axle. Hopefully someday. I'm still looking for a front axle. Either I use that Dana 60 that I got, or I'll find something else. Axles out of the white Jeep, I don't know. Kind of was looking to get like an 8 1/4, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. I think I want something bigger anyway. But yeah, so this one's done. I just gotta clean it up and paint, and then start working on that side. I'm hoping that it kind of warms up a little bit more, so I can get out here and work on this. But I'm gonna I'll get this side cleaned up and painted at least, and then I'll come out here and be working on this. Let me go show you though the other one. It's in the garage, and then I'll show you what I'm having to do. So I'll bring you right back here in a minute. All right, here we are. Here's that other one. I will have to angle this here and then angle the other side so that I can clock it. It'll allow me to clock this at the angle I need on the axle tube to mount the shock, so that I can get the proper angle for the bolt to go through. I had to notch this out so that it could clear like the housing of the shock, because it's going to be kind of at an angle, and then the shock's going to stick up, so I'll have to do that. I use this to get this little notch cut out, and I should have used this from the beginning, but I was out there on the driveway because I didn't want to clean up to go out and use the vise, and I was trying to use the grinder wheel in here to cut this down, radius this notch out, but which ended up being a mistake because I was holding it, I can't remember how, with my thumb. That's why I got a bandage on here, and the grinder like grabbed and jumped into my finger and took a chunk out of my thumb. So, which it literally was like a 1/16 of an inch deep, about 1/2 inch long, and then about 1/4 or better wide. So it, needless to say, there was some red flesh down at the bottom of it, and it was crazy because you could literally see all the layers of flesh that you have. I'm glad I didn't see bone. I actually, when it happened, I thought it was going to be worse than it was, but it still was pretty bad. Cleaned up good, performed surgery on myself in a way, and then bandaged it up and got back to work and got that one you just saw finished yesterday. But it took so long, I was beat. It took like most of the day, and but that's how I discovered what all I need to do, because I need to angle this so I can clock it right, and then I had to notch this out so it'd clear the shock body, and then after this is done, You know, this should work just fine. I'm going to do an SYE kit and use that drive shaft that's right there at the end of my finger in that box on the Gold Jeep. And so I got to order the SYE kit, which it's when I bought it for the Comanche, it was $300, and then now it's like $200, so I need to jump on that deal. I also found some handles for the end of this that stick out, so you can hold it like this for areas that you know, you need that stability. And then so I'll get one of those, a couple of those, and yeah. So yeah, I used this, like I said, to cut the little radius as best I could, and then I used the grinder to like cut it out and kind of round it out, and then I used this to kind of clean it up, which I wouldn't recommend because this belt, even though it's perfectly centered right now, it was still wanting to walk because the pressure of this was causing it to walk off. So I don't recommend doing that. But you got to use what you got to, you know, to get your stuff done. So that's it for this. I ordered some stuff because I was working on the Comanche front drive shaft, and because I was trying to change U-joints and rebuild it, and I ended up breaking the cardan joint right in here. There's the surface for where the clip for the U-joint mounts in, and it popped it off. It just broke it off. I don't really know how. I think maybe it kind of started coming out at an angle somehow, and it just caught that lip and just popped it off. So this is a mess that I need to clean up. And then we'll get back on this though and fix it, and then get it put in the Comanche. So more on that to come. But I did order a new cardan H yoke or whatever that thing is called, and I also bought the other little piece that sits in up here, that has a spring and it presses against one of the other this thing. I don't remember what this thing's called. I ordered another one of those because I wanted one with a grease fitting. So I ordered that, and it will come, and I'll put this thing back together, and then we'll put it in the Comanche, and then yeah, we'll use that rear drive shaft for the Gold Jeep. Yeah, so we'll get it. I think I said I already ordered adjustable control arms for the blue Jeep, so we'll get that thing going again, you know, get working on it again, and then get it on the ground so we can start messing with the engine. But yeah, right now I'm gonna go to a pawn shop, see if I can't get some deals on some tools, because I need some hammers and maybe a few sockets and whatever else I can find. And I won't film that going in there and looking at stuff, but if I find anything, I will show you guys what I had found. So I will see you guys after a bit, and we you know, with my haul of stuff, or we'll just start working on the Gold Jeep. Alright guys, we're back. I'm back from the pawn shop. Set that off to the side for a little bit later. So they had a ball peen and I guess this is an engineer sledgehammer or something like that. They had a couple wrenches I needed. This thing was actually $15, but I was getting a pretty good deal on these. And actually this thing I put up there, this is the breaker bar. I don't know if I showed that earlier, that it had like a broken handle. Well, they had this, it's actually for a nut driver. It was a big old nut driver, a 7/16 with a really thick you know, hollow shaft. and I was like, I wonder if I could use it on that pry bar with a broken handle. And I was able to drill down farther, and then I kind of heated this up just lightly just to get it warm, so it didn't mess with any tempering or anything. And then I just drove it down with a hammer all the way. I had to I don't know if you can tell right there, like around the corners, I had to kind of round them a little bit so they would fit in the round hole, because that's, I don't know if you can see it, but I had to drill a round hole, and it, I don't know, looks cool. I think it'll work, and this is going to go in the toolkit. So, and then I needed a hammer for the toolkit, so when I brought this one over to pay for it, it was just like the nut driver, the 2 wrenches, and this hammer. And he was like, oh yeah, I got some more hammers in the back. And they had like a few more ball peens, but I liked this one. There was a smaller one that I thought about getting for like finer stuff, but I was like, this one is good for now. So I bought it, and this was $8. And these were like a couple of dollars a piece. That one was like almost $4 for that thing, but heck with it. I went to the other pawn shop, the only other one in town, and they didn't have nothing. And all their stuff seemed to be pretty expensive. So I just kind of looked around and then left. But this, I did kind of clean up the edge for the pry bar a little bit. But yeah, so that's all I got. And so now I'm gonna start working on that thing after I eat my burrito from the corner store. So all right, well, I'll bring you back when we start working on it. All right, guys, we're back. I apologize again. I didn't show you all the work I had to do, because I wanted to kind of get it done. I was getting frustrated. This side, when I cut the angles, if you remember, to clock it, I did it wrong. I did it, I guess, like I was thinking it was going to be on the back side, and I made it opposite of what the other side was, when it actually needed to be the same, because since the shock's here in the front. So luckily there was enough material that I had to like cut it down to shorten it to match, the length of that other side, like the distance from the axle tube. But I still kind of messed up, and there was some pretty big gaps that I had to weld. But so I just took my time, and I eventually was able to weld it all the way up against there. Try not to show you my thumb too much because I have it airing out right now. Yeah, so I'm gonna let that cool down tonight, and then I'll come out here with probably a wire wheel or just a wire brush and try to clean it up as best I can. And then I'll paint them. I'll change the shock bushing down there, and then I'll put it back together, and then this thing will drive down the road, and then move on to the next thing. I haven't ordered the SYE kit for this thing yet. I'm still kind of waiting, trying to watch what my money's going to do after I pay bills and after I leave on this trip to go see my grandma. And then but the Blue Jeep's adjustable control arms and a few other things are coming. So I guess we can jump on the Comanche and do the steering box stabilizer. And once we do that, we'll go through everything. We'll tighten it all up. We'll change the fluids in the differentials because I haven't done that to that yet. And then I thought about mounting a steering stabilizer, I guess, the little shock that goes in the front. Thought about adding one to this because just simply for the fact that it has such big wheels. I don't want them to, I don't know, I just have this idea in my head that I'll be driving along and I might hit a bump or something and it's going to rip the steering wheel out of my hands. For some reason, I just think about that, which probably is not the case, but so I might do that to this one. The Gold Jeep does not have the little stabilizer on it, and it does pretty fine, pretty good. I do need to check the bushings though, because it has a few times acted like it has like a real quick death wobble, like just a few seconds, which might be normal, but I need to check that out. But yeah, after the Gold Jeep will be good to go for now, and then till I get the rest of the stuff for it. And I'm still looking out for axles and stuff for the Gold Jeep, but yeah, I don't know. So yeah, all these tools came in handy. I'll clean them up after, get them all off of here, get the saw back up here after a bit. I wanted to show you guys this though. The blue junk, whatever they use for the handles on these S-Wing little hammers, mini sledge or whatever you want to call it, engineer hammer, I think is what it is. It started coming off. Like I was using it and it was just sticking to my hand and coming off. So I just took a little scraper. I don't know where the scraper went, but I just scraped as much as I could off. I'll probably take something and kind of chemical, mineral spirits or something, and kind of clean the rest off. And then I thought about getting some that tool dip and then just re-dipping the handle, because it is more narrow now that stuff is gone. So but yeah, so that's it for now. Apologize again, I didn't show you as much as I wanted to show you. I just, like I said, I got frustrated and because I was screwing up, and got it done without you guys. So yeah, I'll be cleaning up some more, and we'll work on the Comanche, and yeah, just keep jumping around to projects. I think I got everything to do the Ford now though, so that's good. So I'll bring you guys back after a bit. Okay guys, we are back and I got this thing all hooked up. So yeah, both sides are hooked up. I came out here, painted it, let it dry, worked on something else, and then got into here and pushed these things up and lined them up. This one, I think on this side was a little bit cocked like this way too much. Like this side is lower than it needs to be. It needed to be, this needed to be rotated up a little bit because it's not completely straight in there. It's a little harder to get this bolt in, whereas the other side it pretty much just went right through with hardly any persuasion. Like yeah, it was just super easy. So kind of concerned that this thing isn't riding all the way on this shock bushing like it should be, but I think maybe as I drive, maybe it'll center itself. The other side's doing good so far. I haven't taken it out for a drive just yet. Sorry about shaking the camera. I'm trying to swap hands, and I'll bend that back just a little bit. So yeah, one thing I do need to do is get some I actually ordered some longer brake lines, so I'll get those. As soon as I get those, I'll get this swapped out, get the brakes bled, and then drive it. I did kind of paint the diff cover, just for the heck of it. I should have painted everything else, but I didn't. But yeah, I think that's gonna work. I'll probably take it somewhere where they got some speed bumps and kind of bounce them over the speed bumps pretty hard. Make sure they stay up in there. But yeah, I think I'm going to be happy with this, because the old shock mount was like way down here somewhere, I think. So moving it up was a lot better. And then let's look at that side, and it's still got some room. It's not going to bottom out unless I hit really hard, and I don't usually drive too fast, but you never know. Even down dirt roads and stuff, I'm pretty careful, because even though I have it in four-wheel drive, it you know, they'll slip and slide all over the place. I'm kind of a chicken when it comes to certain things, but other things I'm like pedal to the metal. But anyway, so that's Gold Jeep's done, and now I'm working on this thing. I got the steering box brace painted up, and I got the little straps for the steering box right there. They're painted both sides. And now I'm just kind of mocking it up, because what I'm going to have to do, since I am moving these brackets forward for these stabilizer bar mounts, I'm going to have to mark and drill a hole. But with this thing not being like bent up or anything, and there's kind of a gap there, I think a nut will fit on the back side. So I'm going to take a silver Sharpie, and I'm going to trace the hole, and then I'm going to, you know, on both sides, and I'll drop this thing back down. I'll take it over to the drill press, and I'll drill out some holes. And I already have some bolts and some nuts that I want to use. So yeah, and I think, yeah, so I got all that stuff. I'll bring you guys back when I get it done, and I'll show you what, you know, what it looks like after it's done. And then after that, I still got to cut this thing off, which is going to be next. Right after I get done with this thing, I'm going to probably pop this ball joint off. You know, I'll jack it up so I can rotate the tire and whatnot. And then I will get the grinder with cutoff wheel, and I'm going to cut as flush, I think, with this other piece, kind of like this side, and I'll go all the way. Since I didn't fill in this gap, I'll just cut all the way up right up to this, and then that piece will come off. And then I'm going to right underneath here, this piece, I'm just going to cut up and out, and yeah, and then I'll just hit it with some paint and call it good. And then I'll probably go back over everything with a wrench and a socket, and I'll tighten everything. Like these got to be tightened too, so I just got to make sure that both sides are matching, and then I will tighten that up, and then we'll be good to go. I'm still thinking about what to do about up here. I might mess around with that, because like I've said before, they're really counting on that hole to center the head of that bolt. But I think I got some ideas of how to kind of fix that. So we'll probably do that after we get this thing done up here, and then get that thing cut off, and then I'll look at my list and see what all is left on it. I know I gotta drain the fluid, diff oil, on front and back, so we might be doing that some point. So yeah, let me get back to it, get this thing done, and then I'll bring you back, and then we'll move on. All right, here we here we're at the Comanche. Got it bolted in. Was able to find some short bolts so it wouldn't hit up against the frame too much. There's enough threads there that the locking nut is working. So yeah, so that part of it's done. Now I'm going to work on cutting that bracket off, and then we'll move on to whatever's next. So I'll bring you back then. Alright guys, we're back. I got that piece cut off. Then I started it up and turned it left and right all the way. I need to adjust the stops on the damn bug again. Another one. These bugs right here keep jumping on me. They keep flying around, landing on me. It annoys the heck out of me. But anyway, so yeah, I got that cut off. I need to adjust those. And then I just feel like these wheels aren't turning enough, but I'll turn them, and the you can hear the power steering pump whine and the steering box making noise. So I'll have to adjust those, but I just feel like they should be able to turn a little bit more, a little sharper. So I'll have to look into that. And then I'll check the list, see what else we got to do to this thing, and I'll bring you back for that. And then we'll continue working on the Blue Jeep, get the control arms taken care of, and then we'll work on the Gold Jeep on the getting the SYE kit. I will measure the drive shaft first, and then make sure that it'll work with that setup before I do it. But that's going to be it for this video. I'll bring you guys back in the next one, and hopefully we'll get some more stuff done. So till next time, y'all take care now.